Good afternoon. Hope you're feeling well.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. I'm okay. And how are you?
Very well indeed. Yang
Terima.
Berhormat, can we please now begin perhaps your initial thoughts on not only the strong support that you've put behind the JSSEZ, but also the importance of creating this SEZ for closer economic integration between Malaysia, Singapore, and how you see things rolling out perhaps over this year?
Yes. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to our strategy partners today and all those who have been instrumental in ensuring the success of today's event. Without your support today, I think we can't have this event, and the purpose of this forum is to get people, especially companies, to be more involved in JSSEZ. So thank you to our colleagues from Johor and also from Singapore who are here today. I'd like to see more questions later. Be open. This is completely an open door policy of JSSEZ. So if there are tough questions, I will try and answer. If there are tougher questions, the PERMSEC is here from Singapore. And also my Deputy Minister, YB Liu, is somewhere there. And of course, the EXCO from Johor is also here. So although I'm the only one sitting here, Lamina, can I also invite them if these questions are difficult?
Absolutely. We can, of course, send a mic over to the nearest.
Okay, yes. So back to your question, JSSEZ have been formulated in such a way that we want to see the right spillover to Malaysia, to Singapore, and of course, Johor in particular. We have seen how today we are faced with various challenges, right? Geo-economic challenges, geopolitical challenges, and it's time to step up and see what we can do that is within our control. And so JSSEZ, with the support of Malaysia and Singapore and the state of Johor, we can fill that vacuum, right? People are talking about where should they move their investments, where can they base their companies. It's JSSEZ together with Singapore and Johor. So many of you who are here today will probably want to know what are the benefits of JSSEZ. How can that spillover benefit your companies, right? So for me, JSSEZ, and I discussed with you earlier this morning, is first of its kind. I hope I'm right. The only first cross-border SEZ in ASEAN, right? And we try to make sure that we leverage on the comparative advantage, on the competitive advantage of both Malaysia and Singapore, especially through Johor, and then be a window as well, and giving opportunities to other companies who want to have access in markets, not just JSSEZ, but across ASEAN and ASEAN Plus. And today in the speech as well, the Chief Minister mooted the idea of RCEP. As you know, RCEP members, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership members, comprise of ASEAN member states, as well as 5 other nations: Korea, Japan, China, of course, Australia and New Zealand. So we can start with inviting our dialogue partners, our strategic partners, to come and look at the opportunities of JSSEZ.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that overview just to get things started, Yang Berhormat. Now, of course, a couple of data points. I do love my data points for everyone's knowledge, and perhaps you can query about some of these as well. So the JSSEZ initiative, ladies and gentlemen, for your information, aims to attract at least about 100 high-value projects and also generate hopefully 20,000 skilled jobs by 2030. That's in less than 5 years' time. So a lot is going to happen. We'll also, of course, then go into a little bit of a discussion around the fact that Johor also late last year in November, was in the news because of the fact that they are going to announce and introduce and implement also premier incomes for those working in high-value manufacturing jobs, starting at 4,000 ringgit for the minimum wages and 5,000 ringgits for those who have actually higher diploma qualifications. So all this sounds like a really good start. But Yang Berhormat, I want to pick up on something you briefly mentioned. Now, let's go into shifting the focus to the state of the global economy, since, of course, President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. It's not even been 20 days. It feels like an entire quarter has passed by. Nevertheless, what are your thoughts on Malaysia as ASEAN chair and also our position on multilateralism, given this very interesting conjunction in global economics right now?
Yeah. So thank you very much. I had the opportunity to meet my colleagues from other ASEAN member states. We had a meeting, in fact, 2 weeks ago. We had a virtual meeting where, fortunately, all economic ministers were able to attend that meeting, and we came out with a joint statement. I believe most of you are aware that we all are in agreement that we continue to support this rule-based multilateral global trading system. Basically, we support the principles of multilateralism. And at the same time, we all also reach consensus that the way forward is to engage the United States, not to retaliate through retaliatory measures. So this is something that we all in agreement. And at the same time, we understand that each country in ASEAN will have its own challenges, its own concerns. So we will approach this both at the multilateral platforms through ASEAN and other platforms that are available, that we are members of. And at the same time, bilaterally, we also continue to engage the US. I think it's important for countries like Malaysia and in Singapore, which is very much involved in the critical part of the global supply chain, and after all, we are an open economy. We are a very trading nation as well. So again, this is where JSSEZ is important, because we are in a geographical location where that supply chain that is supporting many industries go pass through this area, and I think it's important that we continue to highlight this to all our partners, including the United States, of how Malaysia, Singapore, JSEZ, ASEAN, all can play an important role in supporting the global supply chain, and it is actually and will benefit the world, and definitely will benefit the United States as well.
Absolutely. And perhaps let's cycle back a little bit, Yang Berhormat, into looking at JSSEZ and what's really attractive here for multinational firms, which will also foster regional development then through the strong relationship we have always maintained with Singapore.
Okay. In this room, we also have Ministry of Finance who are present here. I think one of the key person is here, John. I'm not sure whether you're still here. But before this event, he and my Deputy Secretary reminded me to share with the audience this latest news, where the incentives that have been announced are now in the process of being gazetted. But while waiting for it to be gazetted, you submit your proposal. MIDA and MOF and MITI and all the relevant agencies will then, together with the state government, of course, present to the NCI, and Ministry of Finance will give approval on case-to-case basis. So we want to move fast, right? So to all of you, if someone tells you wait for it to be gazetted, that's not true. You can already start submitting your proposals, your submissions to the relevant authorities, where those incentives that have been announced will then be presented to the National Committee of Investment, NCI, which is co-chaired by MOF and MITI. So that's one. I think on incentives, tomorrow there will be a session, there will be clinics, all the relevant agencies, including local councils, are present tomorrow. So you'll be discussing details that you may need to know. We are there to support both our ministry, our agencies, the Johor state government, and with the presence of banks here, they are also there to support financing or any other access to funding that may be required. And finally, last point that I want to highlight is that we are also focusing on ensuring that as much spillover as possible is achieved that will be gained by the SMEs as well. So I think SMEs play a role, a key role in the growth of GSSEZ. So this is another agenda that we want to push for, and we want to ensure that we monitor this closely. And the IMFC Johor was opened in February this year in the Forest City. I was told that close to 89% of the projects in 2023 is already operational, the one that's approved, and more than 72% of the projects that was approved in 2024 have been implemented. So we are monitoring. So similarly, when you talk about incentives from fiscal tax incentive, I think you saw the list of tax incentive for companies and for workers as well, for employees. And then infrastructure, the government has committed a sizable amount, close to 5 billion ringgit on infrastructure to support. And at the same time, we want to build the ecosystem on funding, which is also important. On infrastructure is on energy, green energy as well, many opportunities that are already in the pipeline. So this is where this forum, the next couple of sessions and tomorrow will be important for us to share that roadmap.
Thank you very much, Yang Berhormat, for highlighting a couple of really important points, actually, when it comes to the establishment of special economic zones. We've covered just now with what Yang Berhormat shared, cross-border governance, which is quite often underexplored when it comes to public discourse, but it's really crucial for operational success once the FDI translates into the actual companies coming over and operationalizing, because all the systemic friction points, the potential for legal mismatches, custom lag, digital infrastructure disparities, they can be overcome by operationalizing the rich investments. And that regulatory clarity, as Yang Berhormat has encouraged, you can already begin by putting in your applications because they will be viewed on a case-by-case basis. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you haven't forgotten that you can be asking questions via the QR code on Slido that is being flashed on the digital screen. You can also then proceed to upvote specific questions to highlight for Yang Berhormat to answer. YB, now let's move along into looking at actually talent circulation within ASEAN and talent mobility. Now this has been something which Malaysia even did push for and encourage during our previous term as ASEAN chair back in 2015. Now in 2025, so much has changed, and the incredible opportunity which we have right now to harness and ensure that we're encouraging also ASEAN talent to come towards JSSEZ as their destination of choice. A few thoughts on that.
Yes, now just looking at the statistic for talent, we did a survey recently. Many companies, if you say what are the 3 key challenges, one of those 3 is talent. And if you ask any companies, not just in Malaysia or Singapore, it's actually a global challenge as well, especially in sectors that are being promoted throughout the world. So for Malaysia, for JSSEZ in particular, we are working closely with the talent agencies here. Also the Johor state government is supporting us. And this is where in my speech, I mentioned about the importance of a whole of government approach, but it's actually more than just a whole of government approach. It's a whole of nation approach where we require companies also through and higher education ministries, the women resource ministries, the companies, the R&D centers, all we have to work together to prepare the pipeline. This is again, I would like to encourage all of you in this room to participate in many of the programs that are available so that we have the right kind of skills that you require. And again, apart from the tax incentive for those skills, I think I saw the list of incentives given for our professionals who are required to support certain industries. We are also here to ensure that we support the companies to train the individuals that you need. So it's a win-win situation. One of the discussions that is led by MITI together with the Higher Education Ministry, with the Economic Ministry and the Human Resource Ministry is to have even training funds for industries to then employ. We call it academy dalam industry, which is, we have the academy within the industries itself. So here, I'd like to invite companies who are investing in the JSSEZ to participate. We will then ensure that you are ready to support our program, because these programs will then in turn support the talent requirement of the industry. So definitely it's not an overnight solution, but in the short term, this hopefully some of the fiscal incentives, some of the loosening of regulations. Recently, MIDA has been given the approval to give visa for professionals to come in, right? Because we made to understand that some of you, when you want to invest in Johor or in Malaysia, when you come in, the immigration will be wondering why you come in 3 or 4 times a month or 10 times in the last 2-3 months. So all this ease of doing business is there. And can I also highlight that, we want to do new things, want to do things differently, but it's easier said than done. The regulatory frameworks is there, the current guidelines is there, the legal frameworks is similar to regulatory frameworks are there. So how do we cut across these red tapes? So that's why when I discuss with the Chief Minister, with MB Johor, let's do a bit of sandbox where we would then work with the industries. Hopefully we can get EDB and Enterprise Singapore also involved, bring the companies there. And sometimes the solution comes from the companies. The ideas come from the companies, and we test it. Because I know sometimes my own colleagues are worried about trying new things, but if we do it in a very controlled environment and do a few pilot, then hopefully some of the success through this pilot or through the sandbox can then be implemented more widely, especially for JSSEZ. Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat. And of course, picking up on a point you made there about regulatory sandboxes, innovation, let's perhaps now pick up on the benefits for domestic SMEs versus foreign multinationals, because you had, of course, mentioned ensuring inclusive economic spillover, particularly for Johor-based businesses or MSMEs, SMEs from around Malaysia who want to locate or relocate here.
Yes. For SMEs and micro SMEs, these are, of course, important backbone of our economy. And similar to, I believe, Singapore as well, we are here to support SMEs from Singapore and SMEs from Johor. If they want to expand, naturally, Johor is an area where it's easier to expand, given the proximity and given the accessibility to many, many markets. So for me, there are 3 things I would like to share to you, SME. One, I hope Maybank and CIMB, you can continue to support the SMEs, and UOB is also here. I believe they have a session also this evening. So for us, we want to facilitate. I think YB Liu is also looking at this, where government comes out with support in forms of not just grant, but also in terms of guarantees in some of the key industries. So this is being deliberated and already presented. And I must say that we are going to celebrate the 1-year National Semiconductor Strategy next month. So this some of the new thinking about how government support SMEs will be announced, and JSSEZ hopefully will be a net beneficiary of that. Number 2 for SMEs is the supply chain. That's why tomorrow, please attend the clinic on the supply chain, where the relevant stakeholders will be engaging many SMEs on showing where SMEs can play a role, where SMEs fit in the whole supply chain, supporting not just the multinational, but also the large local companies based here in Malaysia, based here in Johor, and of course, spillover from the Singapore side as well. And on final one, on SMEs, we want SMEs to also access the ASEAN market. One of the priority economic deliverables as ASEAN chair is for us to upgrade the ASEAN Trade in Goods Agreement, and at the same time to get SMEs and micro SMEs more involved. Hopefully we'll conclude, substantially anyway, the Digital Economic Framework Agreement, where this again will support SMEs, and JSEZ is an area where, a base where you have access to great logistics to support your exports to markets in ASEAN for SME. So again, so please, for those of you who have friends outside who are SMEs and who are SMEs in the room, please be comforted that there is a strong push towards SMEs, as we can see that big spillovers can be achieved if we get SME involved. So we want to see JSSEZ growing, but the growth has to be growth that is also inclusive. Right? Thank you.
Thank you, Yang Berhormat. And this, of course, also then naturally aligns with Malaysia's broader national agendas, which include Industry 4.0, New Industrial Master Plan, NIMP 2030, and also net zero targets, given that sustainability, of course, is at the core of all FDIs that we are having inside the country as well. From there, Yang Berhormat, perhaps we can just close out with some additional thoughts that you have on the RCEP, and looking at how RCEP could maybe then go into also attracting investors from Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, South Korea. We're not only looking into ASEAN alone, right? And particularly given the current volatility of global economics, ASEAN is looking particularly attractive.
Tamina, when are you opening the floor to questions?
I would love to open it right now. We're
Okay,
actually
let me
waiting
answer.
for the Q&A to come up.
I'm
Yes.
just kidding. I was just trying to buy time to think of the answer. Okay, so definitely you mentioned RCEP, and if you heard Deputy Prime Minister Gan's speech earlier today, he also mentioned about the other GCC, mentioned about EU. So I think ASEAN as a bloc, of course through RCEP, through our 5 partners, we can also use RCEP as a platform for us to engage other economic blocs, be it GCC or EU, because RCEP is where all 10 ASEAN countries are a member in this partnership. So for us, for Malaysia and Singapore, this is a chance for us to take the leadership, and JSSEZ is an example where 2 countries can actually work together to ensure that it is a win-win solution. Of course, there will be challenges along the way. No one can deny that. Any partnership, there will always be challenges. But at the end of the day, we must look at the bigger picture. We must see how both parties benefit from this. Similarly, if you look at what you mentioned about RCEP, we also need to consider how do we upgrade RCEP itself, or opportunities to see how countries today can then engage more freely in areas, not just in goods, but also in services, for example. So my final note on this is that given the challenges that we face today, given the uncertainties that we face today, the only thing that is certain is uncertainty. So for Malaysia, speaking on behalf of MITI in particular, our plan is to continue to engage industries, all the other relevant stakeholders, on how do we mitigate this, and at the same time, one of the mitigating factors that we have considered is engagement through the various multilateral platforms that we have, multilateral agreements that we have, and at the same time ensuring that we continue to support the principles of multilateralism, and we must continue to fight for that belief and for those ideals that have brought us peace and prosperity. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Yang Berhormat. And also just highlighting a couple of key interesting points based on what Yang Berhormat shared. So as of January 2025, ladies and gentlemen, the Malaysian government offers a very comprehensive tax incentive package for JSSEZ. Now this includes a special 5% corporate tax rate for up to, wait for it, 15 years. And this is for qualifying manufacturing and service activities such as AI, quantum computing, medical devices, aerospace manufacturing, and global service hubs. Also, additionally, attracting and retaining migrant talent that is professional. Knowledge workers in the zone are eligible for a 15% personal income tax rate, and this is for 10 years, which of course then enhances the appeal for skilled professionals. So thank you very much for the conversation insofar, Yang Berhormat. We're actually waiting on to just see whether we have any of the questions that have come in from our esteemed delegates.
No questions?
Can we have the questions that have come in via Slido?
Yeah, we have Slido because we know all of you are shy to ask directly.
All right, thank you very much. I actually have happened to receive them on my phone. If you don't mind, Yang Berhormat, let us have a look at a couple of them. Now, Anonymous asks, thank you very much, Anonymous, for the question. Yang Berhormat, Anonymous asks, are there efforts to streamline policies between Singapore and Malaysia or Johor to promote growth and investment in the JSSEZ? Thoughts on this?
Yes, I think the short answer is yes. As I mentioned just now, this is where it's important that we have some pilot programs to see whether some of the red tapes can be reduced. This is one way. Of course, regulatory frameworks, we talk about standardizing in a way, but you know, I think what companies want from my discussion with all of you is that you want to ensure that when you do something, the rules that are applied in Singapore are also the same rules that apply in Malaysia and vice versa. Because, or else it's hard to do business when you want the whole idea of a JSSEZ between Johor and Singapore is to increase productivity, increase efficiency, and of course, at the end of the day, improve your bottom line. So this is where I think what I mentioned earlier today, MB also mentioned it first, it's important to have the sandbox, right? To have that sandbox to test some of these ideas to see whether it's, of course, most of you will say it's commercially viable, but we as policymakers want to see whether it's practical and it has the right impact to the bigger economy.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Yang Berhormat. Unfortunately, that does bring us to the end of our time, as we do have to continue on with the post-lunch program, which I'm sure our delegates are much excited. A little short. I hope you are, of course, happy with some of the answers that Yang Berhormat has been able to share. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request a huge round of applause for Yang Berhormat for spending time with us, telling us a little bit more about the JSSEZ.
Anyway, thank you very much, Tamina, and thank you all for supporting this event. As I said, please fully utilize the facilities or the discussions. And this is not a one-off event. We will definitely have many more events, and I was talking to my team, and I'll try and talk to Singapore MTI as well, to try and then focus more on the specific sectors going forward. Because from my discussion before this meeting, many of you said, can we have discussion on the energy sector? What are the concerns? Because today is very general, of course, very broad. We can then go and talk and engage specific sectors on specific concerns. So maybe we have many flagships as well. So this is where I think this is a kickoff. We will then have a more events that will engage the relevant sectors and try and look at it, go deeper into some of the discussions. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Yang Berhormat. Not just the merger of economies, but the fusion of innovation as well as opportunities. That is the JSSEZ. Thank you very much once again on behalf of Yang Berhormat Tengku Zafrul and myself, Tamina Kausji, on behalf of the Niaga Awani team from Astro Awani. That brings us to the conclusion, and back to you, MC Fairul.